Good morning. Um, been on business calls this morning, but of course in the chat, exactly what I was looking for. Posted, let me see. Posted at 7:43 a.m., but of course we got the move right here in this candle, closed over, got our entry right here. Volume is 9 million, so I just went ahead and put 100K in here, and then my entry was like 63.603. And so let me just do it for the recording so we can see, so you all can see. So if I do 0.603 and then plus 5%. So of course, alert for 5% got hit inside of this candle, same candle we entered on. And so what I'll do is I'll just put lines since we didn't have been on business calls this morning. Since we didn't have the live recording for the alerts, and then entry plus 10%, 663. And then you can see both the 5 and 10% alert got hit inside of this candle here. And so as soon as it came up, was waiting to see. It was pretty bullish, but then when it started to have like a heavy wall on the level 2, I started taking pieces off, and so I took 50% off. And so holding the rest, because like I said, you have your possibilities. One, after you get in, it could just sell off. Two is push up to the middle VWAP, which is the purple line, reject, which it did, and then sell off. But instead of rejecting and selling off, it rejected and closed right back over. And so coming back up here, making this triple top right here, it's not very bullish at all. And so, but I only have 50% of my position still in. And so I'm waiting to see. If this candle closes under the middle VWAP, I'm going to take another 25% off. And then so I'll only have 25% of my position left. Then see how it goes from there. 40 seconds left on this current candle to see if it's gonna close back over the middle VWAP, which would be lovely. So I won't have to take another 25% off. And so my initial sell for the 50%, it was like a heavy wall in the 67s. And so was basically sold 50% of my position over 10%. And I put 100K in. So okay, so now I'm gonna take another 25% off. And I'm just gonna, of course, just execute on the bid so I'm out easily. All right, so we got 25% out, and then I'm gonna hold this last 25% to see if it uh yeah, I guess I'll just see if it holds above the 21 and 28. Not really a fan of this current price action, but I have such a small piece left and it is the first green day, and I do have a volume bar down here, so maybe it's just chopping around a little bit before getting going. Yeah, even though it's pulling back here, still got uh 4 minutes left on that candle. Looks like ICU is coming up. So we got some volatility here. The volume's kind of low in relation to these past days here. Oh, it closed under. So I'll cut that for a small loss. If it pumps back up and rips, I don't really care. And so let's see. This thing is just going straight up. It's not pulling back. So of course, to go over this trade here, you have volatility 47 to 82 and a half. Called it in pre-market. Um, pre-market, someone could have got faked out right here, but I mean it was not even like heavy orders when it was coming down here, and then it just closed under. So closing under the 21 and 28 immediately invalidates the setup. I prefer to enter during market open, which again is this gray area moving over to this black area, which this is 9:30 a.m. Eastern going forward to 4 p.m. Eastern. And so right here at it came down. This candle was very bullish basically engulfed this entire candle. And then right here was my entry. Like I said, I didn't get the dead bottom. I got filled in at 0.603. I put 100K dollars, $100,000 into this move here. And then I took 50% out, 50 of my position, 50% of my position out in the 10% area. Again, these white lines. Normally I just set in alerts, but for the recording I put white lines so you can see this would have been the 5% alert. This was the 10% alert. There's a lot of selling going on up in this area, clearly why it started to sell off. And again, I just focus on the same possibilities that happen every single time you make an investment. It's either you get in and it's just gonna sell off, or you get in, it's gonna go up, hit the 5 to 10%, likely reject or do some type of interaction with the middle VWAP, and then either sell off, or it's gonna reject like it did here and then go up. But then closing back under is a sign for me to take more of my position off, and then closing underneath the 21 and 28, I took the remainder of my position off. So 100% of my position in here, 50% of my position out here, excuse me, 25% of my position out after this candle closed, so in this candle here, and then the last 25% of my position out right here in this candle, simply because this candle closed underneath. So I had the volatility, well, it dipped through the 21 and 28, came back up. This candle revalidated the entry. This was the entry candle. 5 and 10% alert got hit very quickly. Extra selling going on, 50% out, 25% out, 25% out. That's 100% of my position completely out. And just because of this triple top here and just this price action, like I'm not gonna consider re-entering this move. Let's see, the P&L looks like about 7,000. $7,236 for the P&L for this play here. I mean, this would have been nice if it pulled back, but clearly didn't pull back. And then let me check the scanner to see if there's anything else. VOD finally paid out. I don't really see any, I don't really see anything else currently. And yeah, since I'm fully out of this and not considering re-entering, I'm gonna move that. This one just has the highest ball, it's 11 cents. Let me put ACO in here. I mean, I bet this is not even moving. You can see how this is moving basically almost every second. Oh well, not this. Well, let me put AGFY. You can see how this here is basically taking a trade every second. This is like not, and so that's how I kind of determine if the volume is too low or not. Now I do see a blue volume bar down here, so it could push up, and the FI is underneath the 0 line, so this could blast off today. But if I was to take an entry on this, I would risk less than 50% of the profit I made on this trade right here. So that one's just going straight up. So it pulling back, I see you pulling back because it's going straight up. It may just, I doubt it would just dump right through it and close under it, but it is a possibility because it has just been pushing straight up. This one, I did basically miss the entry for this dip right down here. Let me check this volatility though. This bottom of this candle is 37.56, 43.71 minus 37.56 divided by 37.56, 16%. Mm, I mean, that's kind of volatile, not really. It's more than 15% in 20 minutes though, so but it's just moving so slow. Definitely not a fan of that at all. I mean, if I had got this entry here, I mean, how many shares was that? 55,000, so 1 million shares on the day. Yeah, and it only did 55,000 shares on the dip. There's probably no large bid orders. But let's just say you got in at, let's say you got in at 39.7. If you got in at 397 plus 5%, 41.68. Yeah, so 5% got hit. Right. 397 plus 10%, 4367, which would have been basically the last target, which is high of day. Yeah. And this is why I teach what I'm doing, because just because I missed this doesn't mean you may have missed this. You could have been not on a business call or just focusing straight on the charts and saw this volatility push, got in on the pullback, and then 5 and 10% gain. And then, of course, entered the correct amount of shares based on the volume. Well, for it having only done 1 million shares in a day so far, I wouldn't have put more than 100,000 shares into this position. But it looks like it's gonna hit that 10% alert. Let me put ICU back here. Looks like might be just calling this a 7K day. Well, it would have been more if I would have saw Akon, but I missed it. So I'll give it 8 more minutes. I'll give it to 10:30. See if anything pops up on the scanner. I called this for a swing entry, and it literally just I said the highest I would consider entering is 0005, and it like barely scooped up some of the orders I had sitting, and it's up 60% so far. And I called the this in the chat on this day. It's the highest I would consider enter is 0004, 0005, up 60% right now. But the bid is like barely above my entry, so even if I wanted to take 60% at 0008, the bid would need to move up. But it's a swing investment, and I have a very small amount of shares because it didn't do as much volume as I was hoping at the level. But money is money. No complaints here. Yeah, it looks like this came up. So that last 25% I sold for a very small loss. 25% of my position for a very small loss. Could have held it, but this easily could have just closed under, rejected, and sold off. But yeah, they dipped it down to the 83 and 520 EMA held, closed over, retested it, didn't close under it again, right through middle VWAP. And yeah, there's probably a large wall at 69. But AGFY right here so you can see the level two. If they close that back under middle VWAP, that would be very bearish. They closed it over. I mean, that was still and it's now a triple top on 69, but holding it over the middle VWAP is it's decent. I wouldn't say it's the best. That candle closed off the highs pretty hard, that previous candle. But it's the only thing with 9-figure volume. It's 13 million volume on the day, and it's up 36%. So that's likely the only thing people are watching right now. I said I was gonna be off at 10:30, but I just want to watch to see if it can break that 69 level, 69 cent level on AGFY, so y'all can just see how price reacts when it breaks 5-day levels, and also see why that's kind of like it's not necessarily the last target, but I likely will not have majority of my position still on by the time it reaches there. Now, in this initial push right here, I mean the high was right here, and so it was slightly different. This the fact that it came up, made a separate high, pulled back, held. This is usually how the trades look. I mean they usually volatilities push, retest, and then go higher. But this one was a bit different today. And I already went over the trade execution, but now I just want to kind of watch to see if it can get through there. Because I'm sure people are shorting it because of this pre-market eye. But yeah, sometimes I just sit and watch the market, even if I'm completely flat on my positions and it's sitting in cash. All right, I don't have all day to sit here and see if it's gonna break 69 or not. Close back under middle VWAP, so I'll end the recording here. Um, we'll likely be here tomorrow. I do show up on Fridays, but Fridays the market usually doesn't do anything until like 10:30 a.m., like close to like 10:45. So I may come on at 10 and then run it to or 10 or 10:30 and then run it to like 11:30.